Hello, everyone. Hope you're all enjoying the expo so far. I was going to give this talk in Arabic just to impress you, but I think I'll stick to English today. If you want me to switch at any point, let me know. I'm here to talk to you about technology, but I'm not going to tell you what you usually hear about how dangerous technology is for your children. I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to tell you that the danger is not exposing your children to technology. Now that might be hard for some of you to hear, especially as today we've had quite a few talks about the dangers of technology. But I'm here to say that if it's used responsibly, actually technology is a friend for learning and not an enemy. Now, before I begin, I'm going to show you a piece of technology that you can use with your children at home or in school. And before I show you, you'll need to download it on your phone. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind now going to Google Play and looking for the Clever Books Geography app, you can download it now. And by the time we get to that part, it will already be on your phones ready. Okay, so that's where you'll find it on Google Play. If you're not sure how you get to it, give the phone to one of your children. They'll probably do it for you. All right? Okay, whilst that's happening, I have a question. It's quite a serious question. You see, as a school principal, my job is to create an environment in which children can learn, in which they can be safe, and in which they can gain the most academically and socially. But my job's getting harder every day. Why? Because things keep changing. Every day there's change, and that means that I have to adapt what it is that I'm doing to meet the change. Let me give you an example, and I need you to help me out a little bit, those of you who can hear me. Can you please put your hand up if you have a smartphone? Just raise your hand for me if you have a smartphone. There are some people at the back. Excuse me, lady at the back, you're not listening. Can you raise your hand, please? We're in school now, yes. Raise your hand if you have a smartphone. We're doing a survey. There you go. Many of you, right? Okay. Now, raise your hand again if you have a pen. Yeah. See the problem? I don't mean the pen that they gave you at the store when you came in. I mean the pen you packed before you came here. Right? So few compared to the smartphone. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. I think we know. Technology is useful. That's why. Technology makes tasks easier. And the world is changing so fast that things which used to be important to us aren't as important anymore. I'm going to give you an example of the speed of change in our world. This is a pharmacy at the University of California. Now, I took this in 2016. It hasn't made one mistake in 350,000 orders. This is the future of the pharmacy, the sadaleya. I told you I knew Arabic. It'll never get tired. It'll never need time off to get married. It'll never need a tea break. And it doesn't make mistakes. Here's another one. In 2016, General Robert Cohn, who's a US Army general, he made a very important statement. He said that robots could replace 1/4 of the US Army by 2030. That's now, what, 11 years away? 1 in every 4 soldiers will be robotic. I don't mean that kind of robot. I'm talking about robots that can look for arms, that can sniff out people who are still in a building. So in pharmaceutical industries, technology has taken over. And even in the army, something which is known for human capacity, technology is taking over. Here's another one. Because all of our children are going to be doctors, aren't they? Obviously, right? So even in the field of medicine, we have here the Sedasis system made by Johnson & Johnson. All the mothers here know Johnson & Johnson. It's the talcum powder makers, right? But they also make this. It's FDA approved, and it can administer low-level anesthesia. Technology is everywhere. So how come we're ignoring it? Why are we so quick to put it down? And why are we so quick to try to hide our children from it? Here's another question. How many of you who have asked your school, because I get asked a lot as a school principal, to look at ways to improve the handwriting of the children? Parents sometimes ask for extra copybooks, more time in lessons, extra writing practice. But you know something that I've never been asked? I've never been asked this. I've never been asked, what is my child's touch typing speed? Isn't that strange? In a world where technology is taking such a huge part in our lives, admit it. When was the last time you took a pen and paper and wrote more than 2 pages? When? You know, while I was doing this, I was trying to think of the last time I actually wrote a lot with pen and paper. It was 14 years ago when I wrote a letter to my mother, who still lives in the UK. 14 years ago. Today, do you know what I do? I send her messages on WhatsApp. We talk all the time. I send a message, she replies, I send a message, then I wait, and I wait, and I wait for her to reply. Because there's a generation gap. Technology has changed so quickly that there is a gap between those who use it regularly and those who don't. What we're trying to achieve is the same, but the technology for each of us is different. So here you see the elderly gentleman, and honestly, I sometimes feel like I'm in this camp, to be honest. I love pen and paper, but we cannot force a younger generation to adapt to our technologies. They have their own. The younger generation are known as digital natives. Digital natives, meaning what? Meaning that they are native to the digital world. They were born in it. They are a different generation to us. And it is their world. We are simply living in it. We need to allow them to be able to take control of this digital world, to be comfortable using it, and not to strike them with fear every time that they pick up a device. Now, I'm not saying for a minute that you should leave your children all day with devices. I would never say that. Everything should be done in moderation. Everything. But what I am saying is, when I hear parents come to me and say, "Oh, Mr. Welbeck, my 7-year-old son, he never watches television. He never uses a device. We have 0 screen time." It starts to get me a little bit worried. Because to be frank, he's missing out. There are so many things that can be done with technology which would help enhance his cognitive skills. And he needs to be prepared for a future which, quite frankly, technology will be at the forefront of. Technology isn't bad or good for children. It's the use of the technology. It's the use. Okay, so whilst I was putting this together, my 2 youngest children were playing with their iPad, right? Now, my wife was tired, she was asleep, I was doing the presentation, and the kids had the iPad and we left them with it. Now, I'm gonna seem like a very bad parent, but I left my kids with the iPad for about 3 hours, all right? What happens if you leave a 10 and 6-year-old alone with an iPad for 3 hours with no games on it? Here's what happened. Sound? There's no sound. It's not working? All right. Which is a shame, because there's a great soundtrack that they put to this as well. Well, I'll explain to you. My kids took their iPad and they decided to make a movie trailer, right? The trailer is about 2 annoying siblings, and they came running into my office and said, Dad, look what we did. Now, you'll have to excuse some of their behavior. I did tell you I was a bad parent, but what you can't deny is the creativity, the fact that they are working together, the fact that they are not just simply staring at a screen, but that they are making something, being creative, expressing themselves, using the sorts of skills and skill sets that we say we want our children to have. I did not help them with that at all. I only decided to put it in a presentation when they showed it to me after they'd done it. So technology can help our kids. It can help them be creative because it has unlimited tools. They can be expressive and they can create ways to show what they know. They can escape the limitations of the environment. So for example, where I grew up in London, there is a library walking distance from your house, no matter where you live. But that isn't the case here in Cairo. But with technology, they've got over 250,000 books available for free online. How can we deny the importance of that? You can travel anywhere. With Google Maps, have any of you ever been to Japan? Well, if you actually knew how to use Google Maps, you could go and walk the streets of any Japanese city. And you can talk to anyone you wanted on Google Hangout. But there's another technology I want to talk to you about. A technology that I have been doing my postgraduate research in for the last 3 or 4 years. And that's augmented reality. Augmented reality is what happens when we take real situations, real life, and we overlay it with graphics. And what it does is it opens up a brand new world for learning. It brings the outside into the classroom. What would it look like if we had classrooms which use this type of technology? I'm going to show you now. Do we have the sound now? Hopefully if we have the sound, you'll get to see it. In the meantime, whilst that's on, I'm going to hand out 3 tablets to anyone who would like to see the software in real time if you didn't manage to download it on your phone, okay? So, what happened? Had no sound? Okay, we can go back to it. Don't worry, go back to it. I know. Go back to the video and play it. It's okay. Sometimes we have technical issues. Right, who's interested in seeing this technology work? I have 3 tablets. You must promise to give me the tablet back at the end, okay? It's not a freebie. You can't take it home. All right, who'd like to try? Don't make me come out. I mean, you can come and collect it. Anyone? Okay, thank you, sir. There's one. You can send him to come collect it. If you turn it on, it's already ready. You just need to keep it on that screen. You can turn it on, and it's ready to go. You can sit down, it's okay. From the comfort of your chair. Right, one more. Here we go. Okay, all right. What you're seeing is augmented reality in effect. Obviously, this is a future classroom. This is a prototype. It doesn't quite exist yet, but the technology is here. It would have had a very nice soundtrack, but unfortunately, the sound isn't working. As you can see, the point of augmented reality is that everything is possible. Things which maybe we wouldn't have been able to do become possible because of it. So you're taking graphical elements and you're overlaying them over real life situations, and that's what helps. Let me give you an example of how augmented reality can help. Imagine if children are learning about the skeleton. All right, we're talking about, I don't know, grade 2 kids for the first time looking at bones. Now, it's one thing to look at the actual skeleton in the classroom, it's another thing to look in a book. But with augmented reality, they can use their device, point it at one of their friends, and the bone structure appears on top of the real person. Now they can see really how the bones work, and they can put it in context. That's the point. All right? Okay. Let's get to it. At my school, Menara Teleopolis International School, we embrace technology. We're not afraid of it. We believe it is not only useful, but it is an absolute necessity for children today, especially here in Egypt. Because Egypt has the opportunity to compete with anywhere else in the world because the technology is the same. We're not at any disadvantage when it comes to it. So we use a technology, and we've been using something called the Cleverbooks AR map. Now the way it works is this: you have a normal map, a normal paper map, but when you point the device at it, the map comes to life. And instead of simply looking at a map, you're able to see 3D landscapes, you're able to look at the weather, you're able to look at the animals that live in that land, you're able to look at heritage sites, for example. Pure inquiry, pure concept-based learning. Are you ready? Those with the iPads, and those of you who downloaded the app before. Okay, here you go. A normal map of Africa. Now point your device at it. You got to point the device at it. There you go. Let me know when it comes to life. Do you have it? Excellent. Now with it, if you look on the side, you'll be able to see that you can change what you're looking at. Find the paw, which shows you the animals. Okay, now with those animals, you can listen to them. It tells you the names of them. You can record what it is you're seeing. Now, when we gave this to the children, they did not need the teacher to show them how to use it. They are digital natives. As soon as they saw the 3D image pop up, they were exploring, they were discussing, they were writing down, and they were able to integrate this technology into their actual unit of inquiry. And at the time, the children were looking into migration. Some of them were looking into economics with borders and how those affect economics. Now I'm talking about grade 6, grade 5, grade 4 children. I'm not talking about high school kids. And this is the beauty of technology right here. Now, if you didn't get a chance to do this because you didn't download the app, don't worry. Just go onto Google Play or iOS and look for Cleverbooks, look for the geography map, and you'll be able to print out the map yourself and you'll be able to use it at home. All right, it's completely free. That's all I have for you today. If you would like to talk to me a little bit more about technology or augmented reality and how we can use that to enhance education for our children, you'll find me over at the Menara Teleopolis International store. I wish you the best of the rest of the day and the best for your children for the future. Thank you very much.